Chapter 8 of Somme Battle Stories by Alec John Dawson. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Chapter 8. We don't count wounds in my regiment. Standing close beside the gangway of the first hospital ship to be berthed at Southampton during one recent day was a tall, fair-haired sergeant who came to attention and saluted like a guardsman on parade, though his left arm was slung and his tunic in tatters. The dust which covered his ragged jacket was caked on it by darker, thicker stuff than water. The familiar, unmistakable stain which covers so much khaki on hospital ships, the stain that tells you a man has given freely of the life within him in the service of king and country. There was nothing in these details to hold one's attention to the sergeant, for these are external characteristics shared by most of our new arrivals at Southampton. But in some indescribable way the sergeant was trim and smart, though bandaged, and clothed in rags that were muddy and bloody. His smartness, then, must have gone a good way beneath the surface. It certainly was marked. I waited a few minutes to chat with this N.C.O., and it happened that the first question I put to him took this form: "Well, Sergeant, how do you think the new army is shaping?" There was something at once humorous, modest, and very pleasing about his flickering half-smile. "The new army, sir? Oh, I think the new army's all right, sir. Doin' fine, I should say. Master Boche finds 'em a pretty tough nut to crack, I think. I don't think there's much the matter with the new army, sir, from the little I've seen of it." "Why, haven't you been out long there, Sergeant?" Again that flickering, modest, humorous smile. "I was in the retreat from Mons, sir. Wounded there, and hit again at Loos, sir. This is my third trip home in a hospital ship, but of course it's all different now." "Then you are of the old army?" 14 years' service, sir, come next month." When you come out of hospital this time you'll wear 3 gold stripes, Sergeant." The smile was perfectly radiant this time. "We don't count wounds in my regiment, sir." It would be most difficult to explain how much this sergeant impressed me, or what was conveyed by his smile and his tone. There was, for example, a kind of caress in his voice when he used those 2 simple words, "my regiment," which I am quite sure cannot be described. Some hours later, on another ship, I had some little talk about it with an officer of the regular army, a captain whose majority cannot be far from him, I apprehend. He has seen service in Gallipoli as well as in France, and been wounded in both theatres of war. "Odd you should mention that," he said. "I've been thinking of that very point, the new army and the old. I put in 2 days and a night at Havre, you know, on the way from the front, and some kind soul has supplied the place I was in with stacks of newspapers. I read papers of every day for a month, all about the present offensive. I was awfully glad to see the public have been getting lots of information about the way the service battalions have distinguished themselves. I think they deserve every word of praise they've got, and more. They really are wonderful. It's a great achievement for men to be so steady in attack after so short a training. Their officers have done splendidly, too, and it's good that the public at home should learn something about it. I very much doubt if any other country in the world could have accomplished anything approaching to it in the time. Tradition counts for an enormous deal, you see, in any army. In the training and the fighting, men make soldiers of one another, you know, given the tradition and the atmosphere. And in the absence of these things, to have accomplished what this country has accomplished in the new army, well, it's a wonderful tribute to the qualities of the race. Nobody knows so well as a regular soldier what a wonderful miracle it is. I forget just how my next question was worded, but I know it provoked frank and hearty laughter from the captain. "Oh, Lord, no," he said. "No need to tell the public about the regulars. They don't need any telling about regiments that have been fighting in different parts of the world for centuries. The world hardly wants telling at this time of day that Tommy is an invincibly fine soldier, the very best. He proved it such a long time ago, and he's been proving it ever since. But it's only right that our people should be given all the facts about the new army. It had to prove itself, and begad, it's done it magnificently. I don't think there can be a shadow of doubt about that. But I do think it's only right and fair that the facts which prove it should be made public. Everybody who's been in the show knows it, but the world ought to know it too. As for us, well, they know all about us, don't they? Of course, it's a mistake to suppose that we have two separate fighting forces, Old Army and New Army. It isn't that at all. The service battalions, as you know, are mostly battalions of regiments whose records were fine records before the German Empire was ever thought of. Some of 'em have been lucky enough to get a certain number of regular N.C.O.s, and some a few regular officers. Some have been luckier than others in the matter of the number of ex-regulars they got in their ranks. Those things are a great help, of course, in the training, as well as in the campaign. The old regular senior N.C.O. or warrant officer is a finely finished production, as you know, a pretty valuable center of influence. There are battalions and companies in the new army that owe an enormous deal to a single regular sergeant major, and there are service battalions with retired regular officers commanding, whose training has made them equal to any line battalion in the world. Then, of course, there are plenty of regular battalions with hardly a score of the old hands left in the ranks. They have done their bit from first to last, and done it so well that they have had to be remade many times over from drafts. But the regiment never dies, you know. The root of the matter is there all the time, and the surviving officers and N.C.O.s work pretty hard to prevent any falling off in its quality. I think, perhaps, that's really the whole thing, isn't it? A strictly non-military nation has, in an extraordinarily short space of time, built up a huge army from the very closely pollarded stem of a little one which... Well, perhaps the arch-Hun did make a bit of a mistake when he described it as contemptible as well as little. Its record wasn't exactly contemptible, was it? The root is the old root, and the present big tree seems to me to have the old fibre running all through it. Can't very well give it a higher praise, can you? And mind you, it deserves the highest praise that can be given, as I think the Boche is beginning to realize. End of chapter 8.